CNN is the web, the internet, the MySpaces, the websites. That's our CNN and CNN. That's how we have to do it, and DVDs. That's how we have to do it. But I know that has to get on a broader scale, so how to get on a broader scale? They won't want to talk with you unless you have a book, you're doing some type of music, you're doing some type of documentary. So I said, Dad, how do I do this? Okay, let me create this over here. It's not too much threatening to them, so when they bring me in, then I can bring this up. It's a method to it.
Strategic.
Exactly. Farrakhan used to say that. That's what I was sharing with Brother Abdullah. I said, you don't go into a church talking about Muhammad. You go into church talking about who? Jesus. So then when you talk about Jesus, then you talk about Muhammad, then you show the comparison between the two. But if I walk in there with a beard and a kufi and a jalabit, and like, man, you better get out of here trying to convert me. They ain't going to hear it. They're going to shun you. So how do I do it? I walk in with a suit and tie on. I walk in or like this, and then people can relate to me. And then I say, well, do you know such and such and such and such? Then they say, oh, I didn't look at it that way.
They're the ones who are converted.
Exactly.
Already.
But see, that's what our people even on the street. If I'm coming to my young brothers on the corner and try to tell them to do X, Y, and Z, they're going to be like, man, you better get out of here. So I'll come like them. And I'll sit with them and say, what's bothering you, brother? Then I'll go into the help. Then I will go into the history. Then they'll sit there and say, I got it. I like that. Bring in brothers like Just Greg that will talk about certain things, positive music. So when I was with Karis, when we were talking about these things, how to get it out. How can I, since I have that hold on the media like that, I can bring in certain people. And it opened up a lot of doors to a lot of people for me. You know, so now we have to get it into TV, get it into the music. Just change it.
Do you think we'll be able to get it into TV? Because they're pulling the noose on all of the medias, etc. Because as our consciousness rises about who we are and honoring our mothers and fathers, they fall, and so they're pulling the noose tighter, and they control the media. So you know, we got to do the underground thing, which is appropriate.
That's true. We can do the underground thing, but let me tell you how they think. This man is saying, I guarantee, I just showed you Black Knight different stuff. Let me show you how crazy. They'll say, they ain't listening. We're going to pit him out there, let him go ahead. Because you know why? They think I'm coming in with a Negro mind or a black mind. So they'll say, ain't nobody telling me they ain't going to listen to him. Get out of here. They did it with URD when I was there. Why ain't nobody going to listen to him? He's crazy. But when you start backing these things up and they say, oh shoot, wait a minute. But it's too late after that. So it's a method to everything. Just got to know how to get in it. It's the art of war. Even though you're capable, show incapability. It's the art of war. And it's going to be done.
I'm just wondering, like for instance, I watched the 2007 Black
you talking about the forum?
The
forum
with Tavis
Smiley. Talking about the state of the black youth.
Yeah, and
man, I want to cry.
No, but wait. To a certain extent, there was a portion where they had on as the panelists, they had LeVon Bennett Jr., Chucky D, Chuck D.
I like you said Chucky D.
Yeah, I did say that, but I'm not into all that sometimes, so I miss it. But the point is that they had these speakers that were, to me, it seemed like they knew everything and just was holding it back. And Chuck D was the one who said this is stupid. He turned to use dumbassification and some other term to say that it seemed like it was recognized. Everybody knew, but nobody was either letting it out or they from speaker to speaker.
See,
and when y'all
go ahead.
When y'all now speaking about what you have to do to get it in, and I'm sitting here trying to figure out, well, how long before you realize that you can walk right in with it now?
Yes, thank you.
See, the thing is that it's a method. That's why I stay out of a lot of limelights. Because what happens, I don't want you to know who I am. Mm-hmm. I want to go in. I want to go in without you knowing who I am. If you know who I am, you're going to be cautious of me. So like I said, the documentary, how do you get it in there? I spoke with Jeff Johnson from BET when I was in Louisiana, and Brother Troy was there when we was talking. I was like, Jeff, why are we arguing civil rights instead of human rights? And And I said, well, you should let me come on the show and talk about that. So we're trying to arrange that so I can come on, but I understand the editing process. That's the only problem that I have, is because when you're on TV, don't think that stuff is real. All that stuff is way edited way before you even see it on TV. So, but what happens, we can get it. It can happen. It can happen.
I have to say that we were in New York, and if anybody lives in New York right now, there is a documentary, myself, Taj Tuesday, Messiah, and John. You see, you're from New York. It's playing on television right now.
There you go.
But
it's local.
Well, it is local, but yours is, when you do yours, it's going to first be what it is, and then it's going to grow to whatever. So at some point, those networks that you're talking about will maybe want to pick it up, and maybe even pick up the one that's in New York. But I think what the brother's saying here is that at some point, we're not going to be behind the scene. In fact, the power is in the people.
Exactly.
And so the people have to be up front, which is why the consciousness right now is rising, and why we all need to go and learn that which we were mistaught, so that we can stand and be back to the republic, which is Ray, the sun, and the people of the sun, and something like that.
Excuse me. You know, I mean, I don't have a problem with TV or nothing like that, but when we try to do anything without doing it ourselves, we lessen ourselves.
I agree.
I don't think that we should ever be talking about doing things if we not plan on doing it ourselves. And the first thing is to collect, to put business, so we can put schools. Otherwise, we may as well be dead. Because we cannot talk about being more or moreish if we are still talking about things that's dead. If we're not pushing the agenda, then the agenda doesn't, you know what I mean? And I got too many conflicts. I don't see where that's being pushed. I don't see the story. I don't see the story.
You know, brother,
you know what I mean? So what my agenda
is a school right here.
Yeah, this
right,
is class.
I mean, I appreciate the class. I mean, I'm out here. You know what I mean? I'm from Brooklyn. But this is what we need to be talking about. We need to be pushing people to say, listen, you need to get into ownership. You need business. We need business. And we need people out in the street handing out papers.
Well, it's people like...
Yeah, because the people that's in the street is going to reach the people we really need more so than the TV can ever.
But I said that. But I said that's why I'm the way I am. It's like I dress the way I always been dressing like this. So it's like I can relate and walk to the roughest corner I was sharing with somebody. It could be in New York, and I can have a conversation with them. But I would share the information because I walked through the same thing there. You know, I went through the same thing. I ain't gonna go into my past, but Brother Hanif did too. But that's why I love what this brother is doing, because if you ever seen his work, and you have to make stuff entertaining so people can sit there. I'm sorry, that's how it is. It's like you have to make it entertaining for people to say, whoa, wait a minute. You know, I like this. And this is what this brother is doing. You know, I mean, I'm going to tell you, if you see the stuff that he's done, it blew my mind. I thought I was in Hollywood. I ain't even lie. Go ahead.
Another way, you know, the TV is same way other groups do it. Public access television.
And that's what I was just saying with Rise. That's what I just told you. It was the local stuff. Then what happens, people will pick that up.
Yes.
Because, you know why? If you watch reality shows now, it's all scripted. It's nothing real. So what they're going to do is look for something that is real. And that's real reality. Right there. What we do is, no, wait a minute, let me... Wait 1 second, you can't do this. You can't do that. This is real. Whatever happens, happens. Like in live radio. It's like whatever happens, happens. No, you know, replay and all that. But
one of the things that I know is going to happen. I know it is because you know, being that we deal with the sciences and astrology, for instance, or astrological influences of such. That planet, so Pluto, which determines the psyche of generations of children, so those born now, is going into Capricorn. It just came out of Sagittarius, which is why everybody has this consciousness to have higher learning and spirituality. So that we're the results of that. Now it's going into Capricorn, which rules government, discipline, and order. And